question.
Even though some of us, maybe most of us, have read your book or books, could you give us a little bit of your life so that we can put it all together with what we see around us?
Yeah, okay. Anybody else has something to say? You come from so far away, goodness. You flew at least 14 hours.
Yes.
And I suppose none of you flew business class. You all flew economy.
Yes.
That makes the trip even harder. And it was boring. And you paid a lot of money, no matter how much, to come here. And you were harassed by security before boarding the plane. And when you boarded, you got down and the guide started harassing you. Hurry up, on the bus, down the bus, we have to go. We have to see so many things. Why did you undertake all this trouble to come here? What are you looking for? Yes, please.
I have been interested in this area for a long time. I've read books, I've seen documentaries, I've heard speakers, but I want to be able to talk to the people around me at home from my own experience.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this is what I heard. I want to say this is what I saw, this is what I felt, this is what I know. So I'm here to be a witness, to absorb as much as I can, and to take that back with me.
Yeah, that's good, very good, thank you. Who next? That's very good. Yes, please.
I don't understand the narrative being so flipped from the reality, and the story is an avalanche of information, and I just want to distill it into what is apartheid, how does this fit succinctly, poignantly, effectively.
Why do you use the term apartheid?
Because that's what I'm seeing.
Okay. Thank you. We'll come back to that, sure. Who next? Yes, please.
I hosted a foreign exchange student from the West Bank, a Palestinian boy. And
Wasn't he a
lived in
terrorist?
No, he was not a terrorist.
Depends on whose perspective.
We had a lot of heartfelt talks over the year that he lived with me. And so I saw Palestine through his eyes and his experiences. But it's not the same as me coming here and seeing it with my own eyes, because I thought I would be more effective of telling the truth of what is on the ground in Palestine when I get back home if I've been here. Because our media in America is not telling the
Like
truth on the ground
it's
here.
a little bit like your president.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
I know I'm supposed to love my neighbor and love my enemy. I'm having a difficult time loving Trump. I'm working on that.
You have to hate what he's doing
Yes.
and
Yes.
to pity him.
Oh,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
God has mercy on him.
I don't have any trouble hating what he's
Yeah,
doing.
okay. Yes, please. Who else? Yeah. That's okay. You right away entered into the core of the problem when our brother mentioned the term apartheid. So far, I used to tell you that I'm a citizen of Israel. No, I'm a citizen in Israel now. I'm no more second-class citizen. I'm no citizen. With the new laws that Israel promulgated, that we have no right in this country, the best way is that we disappear. But we will never disappear. We rather die in our country, in our villages, than to disappear and become a refugee anywhere else, even not in the United States. I think something new happened in Israel. Now even Netanyahu himself cannot pretend that he is in a democratic country. He is no more in a democratic country when he excludes 1.5 million human beings from citizenship. But we mind, but we don't know what to do. We are trying to convince our people, you stay where you are. Your presence is much more important than any segregating law. And this is what we are trying now to do. It's very hard. It's very sensitive. Whatever we might say is controlled, and we know that. It's tightly controlled. I wish they can hear everything I say in secret and in public. It's not the way that democracy can be lived. They have to change, and I think the Jews are in a very poor situation. I pity them for being the majority who is going more and more towards the right wing, to more a racist attitude. In the future, in the past, I used to say, this is a racial religion that might twist to be racist. It twisted, it's it. What the future will be, we do not know. We are concerned, very concerned. And we see in your visit an act of courage to come to people who are no citizens, who have disappeared. Will not disappear. We might be killed, but so what? The poor who kills us become a criminal, will become a victim. Yeah? But I hope that Israel will wake up once and will notice that from what they pretended being a democracy, now they are clearly an apartheid country. This is very, very simple, very clear. Nobody can deny that. And that's a pity. Now I can tell you that I'm a Palestinian. I'm a proud Palestinian. I have nothing to be ashamed of being Palestinian. I have been the victim all through these 67, 76 past years. All the time losing because the other part has so much power, so much weapons, so much support from the United States, unilateral support. It was kind of hidden, now it's open with your president. He's an amazingly not normal human being. Amazing. And I think you deserve a better president. But that's your problem, not mine. It is our problem because it affects us directly. I'm a Palestinian and I am an Arab. My mother language is very easy to learn Arabic language. Very easy to learn. You don't believe me, I suppose. But try it. It's very easy to learn. Even you go to the kindergarten or you see the children you saw in the schools, you speak with them, they would speak Arabic. If they can speak Arabic, why can't you? It's a problem of time, of interest, of inclination, of capacity, of time, and so on. We don't blame you for knowing only your language, which is a poor language normally. It has taken everything from Latin, from French, from English, from Arabic. The philosophy you have is our philosophy, but you have taken it, and unfortunately, because of the deteriorated situation of the Arab countries, mainly Saudi Arabia and all the Emirates, who have lots of money but have a small brain. Yeah? They think that the world is their slaves because they have money. Yeah? Palestinian Arab, I'm also a Christian. Some who do not know wonder, how come you are a Christian? Some would wonder, when have you converted to Christianity? In fact, I thank God because I was not born Christian. I'm very proud to realize that I was not born a Christian. I don't know what about you. Were you born Christians? Or you were like me? I was born a babe. And only a babe. Not any babe, but with this birth certificate. I was created on the image and with the likeness of God Himself. Not more, but not less either. It's afterwards that I spoke Arabic. I was in a Palestinian family. I was in Palestine. Then I became in Israel. And so on and so on. All these added qualification of my identity do not hide the original identity, which is a child of God. And that you have to be aware of. And that's where I can look at you and say, goodness, these are brothers and sisters. They were born babies like me, with the image and the likeness of God. So I respect you. I will never address you as ladies and gentlemen from now on. I will address you as brothers and sisters, with the depth of what that means for me. It's so strong, so important to look at you and see these are brothers and sisters. And your brothers and sisters are not obligatory having the same mother. We have many mothers, but our mothers were born babies as well. As a Christian, I mentioned that very briefly because I suppose you know that. I was converted to Christianity, and not long ago. It's about 2,000 plus some years ago, when 120 men from Galilee, this is the scripture, were gathered in one of the upper rooms on Mount Zion. Today you call it, what do you call it today?
The upper room, that's something.
No, it has another name, I forgot it. Oh.
Scopus.
No, it's okay. Where the disciples, the 120 men were gathered and... No, the name of the room.
The upper room.
Yeah, that's one of the names. Yeah, that's okay. But it was not there where you go to visit now. Sure was not there. Because it's a building 200 years. But that event happened 2,000 years ago, when the 120 men from Galilee were gathered in one of these upper rooms on Mount Zion. And suddenly something happened. It was 50 days after the resurrection of the man from Galilee. What happened 50 days after? When they were gathered in the upper room, doors locked, closed out of fear, and they were gathered there. What happened?
The Spirit came.
Sorry?
The Spirit came.
The Spirit.
And
What
they
did he come
spoke.
to do? What was he going to do?
And they spoke in tongues.
I think the Lord promised them He will send them the gifts of the Father, right? What was the first gift that He gave them? The day of the Pentecost. You would say the Holy Spirit, right? No, it's not the Holy Spirit. He did not start with sending him the Holy Spirit. He started sending them His wind, His ruhu, riyah, His strong wind. He stormed their minds so that they realized that they would be invited to a divine banquet around the Lamb of God, about Jesus Christ in heaven. And who was invited? Who was supposed to be invited? Normally we would say the Jewish people, the elected people, the chosen people. For the first time they said, no, it's not the Jewish people who is elected. It's not the Christians either. Too early for the Muslims. Who was invited then? It is only and exclusively every man, every woman, man and woman are invited to the divine banquet. We come back to the being born baby. What do we do with the Jews? They always pretended that they were the chosen people, the elected, the upper race compared to others. What do we do with them? Go and ask them, are you men and women? If they say yes, then remind them that they were invited on the same title, the same word, insistence as anybody else. But if they say, no, we are not men and women, you face a big problem, which I face since I grew up and became responsible for something in this society. After that, the Lord sent them the second gift, which was the Holy Spirit. He inhabited in them. Out of fearful people, they became very courageous, very daring. They opened the door widely, and they opened the door for everyone. And they started saying something that we are still busy implementing. And sometimes you have presidents and people who go against that, and they bring humanity backwards many, many years. And that means from now on, from the reception of the Holy Spirit on, There is no more privilege for Jew against Gentile, for man against woman, for Lord against slave. My goodness, this is important. Why is that? Apostle Paul said it because you are called to become adopted children of God. You have not been children of God. You are called to become children of God. You have something to do. You have a responsibility to fulfill. You are called to become children of God. Even you Americans. This is such a big gift. They went on the temple place and started preaching this reality, which was a revolution, which was a shock for the Jews. That cannot be true to say, we are no Jew, no Gentile. We are not like the Gentile. They are bad people. They are poor people. They are godless people. The Gentiles became godful people. And that was the day when I was born as a Christian. The 120 men from Galilee came back to Galilee. You will read in the Gospel of St. Luke so much emphasis on the fact that Jesus was born in Galilee, because Galilee is the Galilee of the nations, of the Gentiles. Few Jews were here, and many Gentiles were here. Like today, we are still the majority, the Palestinian Gentiles. He came for us. He came for them, for everybody. He wanted to destroy the dividing wall between nations and unite them together. Today we are masters in building walls to divide people from wealthy to poor, from powerful to powerless, and to negate dignity for the powerless. This famous wall that divides Palestine from Israel. The Christians went all over the world preaching the story they had experienced with their compatriots. They did not have any plan. They have only a vision. We don't have a dream. We have a vision. And according to that vision, we were conducted by the Holy Spirit. I'm writing a book now, it's already finished. It's entitled, A Boy from Bar'am. A vision, no plan, but vision. You follow your vision, no matter if you crumble, if you walk down, you stand up and you go according to the vision. You are attracted by the vision. And we are attracted by our vision. The last thing, which is the resurrection, which is the kingdom of God, which is the way we are taking each one in his own way. No similar ways for two persons. God has everyone's way to follow him, and that's amazing. So the Christians were almost condemned to respect their vision and to tolerate what happened to them. The first thing was that they were put to death by the Roman temple, the pagan, and by the synagogue equally. They allied together against this new religion, which was the Christianity. And the separation of the synagogue from the church took place in the year 163. Then the Judaism was savagely against Christians, and that's normal. We understand that from their religion. You don't need to tolerate anybody else who pretends to be your equal. And then we endured the persecution of the Roman Empire, and after Islam came, the first 200 years of Islam, it was an Arab Islam. It was fine for the Christians. They did not use the term tolerance. They did not tolerate us. They accepted us. And acceptance is much more powerful and important than tolerance. We know what tolerance meant during the past 2,000 years when people were tolerated. Just wait, you are tolerated here till I find a final solution. With tolerance, you can find a final solution. But with acceptance, you can invent new ways to approach the other. to get him draw nearer. And that's a very distinctive term in Arabic. Samaha is the welcoming acceptance of the other, and tasamuh is the tolerance. We don't use tasamuh anymore. And then came the Turks. People know a little bit about Turkey, but the Turks committed so many atrocities. They burnt all our wealthy libraries, from which we translate all the Greek and Roman philosophy into the modern language, Latin and others. They burnt all our trees because they wanted to warm their soldiers in the winter. They closed all our schools. We were reduced to people with illiterate power. And they also killed. They ended with the massacre of 1,500,000 Armenian Christians because they were Armenians. And all of them were from Diyarbakir, a large place, inhabited by Armenians. They were literally massacred, killed completely, because they were Christians. And we still have some witness of that massacre. Some Armenians, mainly girls, who fled from Diyarbakir to Palestine to find a place where they would be accepted. They are old ladies now. You speak with them, you feel the bitterness, you feel the sadness, you feel the despair that they live constantly with. And after that came, after the Roman Empire ended 1916-17, with the promise of Balfour, the British, that he agrees to give Palestine as a homeland to the Jews, when the Jews were not there. And the British are very well known, excuse me if there's any British one here. If the British are, you are British, right? If the British have always believed that they are God place taker. They promised a land that's not theirs to a people who did not belong to the land. And they promised Palestine for the Jews. They entrusted with Palestine to prepare the population for independence. But instead of preparing them for independence, they prepared to deport them, to exclude them from any right, and to reduce them to refugees, to deportees, to people with no land, with no human right, with no dignity. And they are still living in the refugees camps in Lebanon, in Syria, in Jordan, in Egypt, and here in Palestine as well. We never have had the nightmare that once a president in the United States would come out with statements like the last one of His Excellency Mr. Trump, not only to transfer the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, to say that Jerusalem should no more be in negotiation. It's for the Jews. It's impossible. That will not be the reality. But also to declare that Palestinians have no more right to anything, even not to help when they are hungry. He eliminated UNRWA, the United Nations organization to help the Palestinians. And out of 5 million refugees, he agreed to help only 500,000, which is a denial of the existence of Palestine. And this is exactly what Israel wants from us. They want us to forget that we are Palestinians. They want us to delete our life from previous time to Israel. I had the immense, let me say, privilege to have the president of the state of Israel come to visit me when I was acting Archbishop in Haifa, Mr. Shimon Peres. He sat down, and after a while I had to give a speech. I said, I am honored to stand in front of you as a refugee from Barham, deportee in his own country. I must remind you, Mr. President, that our village was destroyed by the Israeli army. But our people are still alive, and they are waiting to return back. He interrupted me and said, "But Your Excellency, I know that when you left Barham," I said, "I did not leave it, I was deported from there." He said, "When you were deported, you were 7, 8, 9 years old? It's long ago, 60, 70 years ago. Did you not forget? When are you going to forget that Barham is your native place?" I said, "Mr. President, I wonder at what you say. You left Palestine, you were deported from Palestine 2,000 years ago. You never forgot that Palestine is your native place. And you came back to render our life into misery. Tell me, when are you going to start forgetting that Palestine is yours?" He answered with one word, "Touché." What for touché? It means nothing. Right to the point. This is the situation here. We are here in Galilee, much freer. We enjoy much more freedom than our brothers in the West Bank and in Gaza. But we are reminded by the last declarations of Netanyahu and Trump that those in Gaza and the West Bank are not our neighbors, the Palestinians. They are our people, the Palestinians. We are part of them. We are that part who either did not manage or did not want to leave his home and remain when Israel was created only 67 years ago. And people forget. They think that Israel is here for it since eternity. But what was there 70 years ago? There was no state of Israel. It did not exist, right? It started in 1948. What was before? It was not a desert. It was a green land, a very beautiful land, a wealthy land. They emptied the population and took the land for them with their power, their propaganda, and their support from the Western people. By the way, we are not against the state of Israel. I pray for the long life of the state of Israel. It's not the state of Israel that makes a problem for me. It's the qualities of that state. If the state was built in order to provide freedom for the Jews, home for the Jews, homeland for the Jews, these are not rights that are given by the United Nations or United States. These are God-given rights to every human being. And the Jews are but human beings. The problem started when the home they wanted meant that I become homeless. When the freedom of expression they wanted meant that I have no freedom of expression. Each one who tries to speak out, he is killed now or tomorrow. And the homeland they wanted meant that my people becomes a refugee. How can I accept that? How can any reasonable human being say okay to that? To make concession, okay. To give part of the land, okay. But I have to shout out in the ears of every human being, Jew and Palestine, that the land of Palestine cannot belong to the Jews. And it cannot belong to the Palestinians. Both Palestinians and Jews should learn how they should belong to the land, not how they should own the land. The land is God. And Isaiah said that very, very clearly in chapter 5. Woe to those who join one home to another, who confiscate one piece of land after the other, so that they believe they own the land. No, says the Lord. They will be kicked out from the land, naked as when they were born. For the land is God. I think we have to pray, but to act, to dare speak out, that the land should not belong to the Jews or to the Palestinians. Both have to reason and to understand. They have to learn how to live together on that land, how to share the land together, how to share God's gift together. Otherwise, we are condemned to death, both of us, and we do not want to die. We want to live. That's why we are ready to make great concessions. We want to live. We don't want to die, and we don't want to kill the Jews. We don't want them to kill us. This is the main situation today. Put yourself in my place. It's a very, very embarrassing situation. What to do in order either to liberate or recuperate back our land. And how to do it, with what means are effective, we don't know. We know that many people resort to the utmost violence, to kill the other no matter what. We do not want to kill. We are a religion of martyrs, but not martyrs who go and kill themselves to kill others. Martyrs who accept to be killed, never to kill, but to be killed to witness God's mercy and God's compassion. We are a religion of martyrs. I was approached by the Israeli intelligence when first I said in the church, do not forget, we are a people of martyrs. We believe in the holiness of martyrdom. And the police came and said, how can you say that? I said, this is what we are. If you don't accept it, it's your problem. He said, what do you mean by that? I explained to him. He said, okay, that we accept. Yeah? All the time, you do not use violence against them. You can say whatever you want. You are free to talk. Well, I grew up with this obsession. What can I do to help my people? I discovered soon that we are a very young community in Israel. I mean the Arab Palestinians. I discovered that we were 75% below 27 years old and 50% were under 14 years old. So I decided to give my life to the service of the 50%, no matter what would happen. But these people deserve to receive my life in their service. And that's what I did in building several schools in Galilee. I built already 3 schools, one in Haifa, one in Jish, one in here. And I started to build community centers, youth centers, Arab public libraries. And in 1980, it was time that I start building a high school for the people in Abilene. Up till then, only 90 youngsters went to high school, among them 5 girls only. It's a tragedy. I said we have more than 5 girls who want to learn. Today, we have an average of 75% girls, and the rest are boys. And we have excellent girls, brilliant girls, lovely girls. So I started in 1981 to build the school, to build the old building. That's when you came and it was in your right hand. It's very old now, it's street, it needs to be covered with stones. But we need the money for that. It's not important. And we started building after asking for a building permit. And the answer was denial. You will not have a permit to build a building. So I asked myself, what do you need, Elias? Do you need a building to have a school, or you need a building permit? I said to myself, no, I need the building, not the building permit. So I started building without building permit. And Surah. 3 months later, we always went up with the columns, starting to pour concrete on the first floor, and the police came. He came already angry. He said, show me your building permit. I said, you know that you don't have a building permit. He said, yes, I know, but I don't know how can you build without building permit. I said, mister, I will tell you how can I do. I never built with building permit. I built with sand, cement, stones, and so on. He was utterly angry. He said, you do not do like that in a civilized country. I said, you know, I wish you were civilized. You were civilized enough, you would have given me a building permit. If I build without building permit, it's only in order to help you become a little bit more civilized. He was out of himself. He could have killed me. He said, stop arguing. You are called to court, and this building will be destroyed. He said, okay, goodbye. And he left. As soon as he disappeared, we resumed the work. Never stopped. 9 months later, the building was ready. So I started going to court, No, I was 37 times in court till I became Archbishop. And in court, always for building permit. I would do that again if I. We started the school with 80 children, age 13, 14 years old. 4 teachers, 1 lady, and 3 men. Now in the elementary school, for example, we have 86 teachers, after which there are 3 men and all the rest are ladies. And most of them graduated from the school here. It's such a blessing, such an encouragement for me. It's God's gift for me. Let me jump 20 years ahead. I became the happiest man in Galilee, absolutely. Every morning I welcome over 4,000 students. 20 years earlier we were 82, now we are 4,000 with 200 teachers. And the school was meant to be a Christian school. I never hide that. I want to be a school with Christ's teachings, with Christ's ideas. And I wanted Christ to be known among our children as being the leading guide of our life. But in order to be a good Christian, that would mean you are not allowed to exclude anybody else from your love, from your care, from your service. So we needed to open our gate to the non-Christians in order to become good Christians. And we opened the gates for the Muslims. And they started streaming to the school. I don't know if you have an idea with how many people you are on campus now. You are with 3,500 students. You don't hear them. They are working. They're studying. Out of these 3,500, 65% are Muslims, boys and girls, beautiful boys and girls, extraordinary good, generous, ambitious, intelligent. I'm proud of them. And I love them as much as I love myself.
So how do the families feel about being taught about Jesus, Christianity?
I will come to that. So we have these 65% Muslims among us. I would let you go in the classrooms. You would not know who is Christian, who is Muslim. You would not know. As much as when I went on the bus where the Jewish soldier was laid dead after killing 6 passengers and wounding 16 others in the nearby town of Shafar. I went on the bus. It was saturated with blood, with the blood of my people, also with the blood of this Jewish terrorist, the soldier. I tried to see where is the Jewish blood, where is the Palestinian blood. No difference. It was the same blood. My cassock became very wet with blood from my people. It was 9 in the evening, all the lights of the street were there, very dim. Suddenly I trembled against something. I looked, it was the body of that soldier. He was really killed. I said one sentence, kind of spontaneously, may he rest in peace, God forgive him, and went back to the chief of the police, who was waiting for me at the entrance of the bus. He has a loudspeaker. I took it and started speaking to my people. There were tens of thousands of people. Every young man in that town came around. They were Christian, Muslim, Druze. I told them, this terrorist who killed our people is dead. I walked on his body. Our religions teach us, whenever one of our worst enemies fall dead in front of us, We need to carry his body and to bury him respectfully. We are not allowed to do anything against. And this man is dead. And he's a burden on us. I invite you to let us get rid of him. Sorry, and let the police take the body back. It's a long story that I told. I'm telling in my last book that I finished a few weeks ago. It will be published. If anybody of you reads Arabic, you can read it in Arabic. Because I wrote in English, I wrote in French, I wrote in German, but I need to write something in Arabic for our people. There are so many other stories like that. The rest of the story is that I invited these people after the police said to me, "What can I help you with? You have done something courageously." I said, "Are you ready to help to give me what I want?" He said, "Yes, whatever you want." I said, "Please, take your soldiers and go away. Don't stay in this country." He said, "But we are keeping the peace." He said, "No, you are fostering war. Your presence and incitement to war, to massacre. Go away, please." He said, "If you have not done what you have done, I would not have believed you at all." He ordered the 2,000 heavily armed soldiers to withdraw. 9 among them with the kippah, that means Jewish, religious Jews, were there with their rifle on the crowd. I was so afraid. They will now fire on the crowd. They will make an easy massacre, and that will not be good. So I stopped, jumped and stood in front of them. Said, "Gentlemen, I know you don't want to obey the laws, the orders. You have your machine guns ready to fire. If you want to kill me. I already forgave you. But you have to know, if you kill me or you kill anybody else, this crowd will fall on you, will tear you into pieces with no pity, and you would deserve that." And behind me was the chief of the Israeli police. He said to them, "Did you hear what the priest said? You withdraw immediately." Thank God they withdrew. I was left alone with my people. There were tens of thousands around. I took the loudspeaker and spoke to them. I said, "Well, you know, I walked in the blood of our people. It's disgusting. It's horrifying. Now you are alone. There's no police, no soldiery. They're all gone. They took their terrorists with them. You can do whatever you want. You can go and saccage house, make chaos everywhere, havoc everywhere. You can kill. You can do whatever you want. Nobody is there to observe you. But one thing you have to do is to turn around and go back home in peace, silently. As a cry, a silent cry to the world, we are not terrorists, we are terrorized. And tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I give you a rendezvous here. You will come, each one with candle, and we walk all through the town to protest against violence, against terrorism." And the next day, we were about 30,000 people. We marched over 3 hours around the town. Everybody, even the blind, saw us. There was no noise, no protest, no cry. It was a silent march. Went all around till we reached the part where the massacre has been done, and they were gone. The follow-up is that 40 days after any death, if we lose one of our beloved, 40 days after, we celebrate a special prayer for his rest in eternal life. And 40 days later, we needed to celebrate the memory of the victims. There were 2 Christians, men, the driver who used to come every morning to school to bring the children back here, and his cousin, a man of 35 years old, and 2 Muslim sisters. One of them went on the bus to take her university diploma from the Haifa University, and her sister went with her to choose her wedding garment. And they came back to be killed on the bus. So we used to put the picture of our departed ones on the altar or on a special table and to pray God for forgiveness and for mercy. But how can we put our two Christians and not having the Muslim girls here? They are also as martyrs as the other. So I invited the Christian priest in Shifaran nearby and went to the Muslim family and told them about our tradition. And I asked them to allow us to have the pictures of their daughters to put them beside our Christian martyrs. Before anybody answers, before anybody reacts, the mother of those two girls said, Abuna, I know what you mean. The picture of my daughters will be in front of you in the church. And the day after, I celebrated the Mass in front of the two Christians and the two Muslims. It was the most impressive celebration I ever did, surrounded with an estimation of 50,000 human beings in the church, around the streets, everything was full of people coming to pray. That I will never forget. Why do I tell you these stories? Simply because I need your help. I need your help. I'm now very well known as being an international beggar. I beg everywhere from everyone, and you are best situated to give me help. Don't try to ask yourself how many dollars you will give me. I beg for help, but I don't beg for money. Without money, we can survive. But without the help I want, we cannot survive. And the help I want is your friendship and your solidarity. I need you to be my friends. Michael, you have been one of the best friends I ever had. I'm proud of you. I thank the Lord for you. I need your friendship. I need you to be my friend. Keep in touch if you can. It's very important. It's vital for us to have people like you who believe in human dignity be our friends. I know you are all Americans. I wish America is what your face represents for us. Unfortunately, you Americans are your foreign policy is something totally different. And I need your solidarity. What does that mean? In fact, solidarity means you agree to question all your convictions so far. But I'm the last to touch on your personal convictions, your faith convictions, your interpersonal relations. It's not my domain. I respect that for yourself. But don't you think that I'm entitled to ask you to question all your convictions concerning Jews and Palestinians so far? I am a Palestinian. I never hated the Jews. I don't know how to love them. What does that mean? Around you, you have many Jews. Some of the Jews around me might be your friends. And why not? Some of your Jewish friends might be very open-minded Jews. Great, be their friends. Some others might be fanatical Jews. You can talk about anything with them, but don't touch on Israel. That's fine, be their friends. Some others might be pro-settlers Jews. They are interested not in you. They are interested in your pocket, your money, to raise funds to send to Israel to build one more settlement in Palestine-occupied territories. If those are your friends, please, to be my friend, do not abstain from being their friend. Continue being their friend. Continue listening to them with both your ears, and you have one mouth, one word only. Listen to them. Help them, assist them. Send them all the money of Washington. The more you help them, the more I'll be grateful to you. So I don't want anything bad for them. If you want to stay on their side, why not take the side of the Jews? Be pro-Israel. It's good to be pro-Israel. I say it clear and loud. It is good to be pro-Israel. But who told you? To be pro-Israel, you need to be anti-Palestinian. Why? You don't know us. you know something about us. And when what you know about people might be very different what the people are. We knew lots about the Jews in the early 40s. We always knew that the Jews were dirty, were nasty, were people not human beings. They have to be killed. And they paid the price of 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust. So that the Western world awaked up and realized that the Jews were not dirty. It was the Third Reich's ideology, which was the dirt, the real dirt. But it was too late. Those who were killed are gone. Nobody can bring them back. Not even Netanyahu or Trump. They cannot. They are gone, and they are a lesson to us. They are a witness for us how savage human beings can be when they instill themselves to being the judge of humanity. They can just massacre and kill. And they will be an eternal reminder for us, like other massacres. The massacre of the Armenians, which the Jews denied that this was a massacre. It was simply a genocide. When the famous movie about the Armenian Holocaust came to Israel to be broadcast on the large screen, Israel stopped that film, saying, it's not true, it was no Holocaust, it was genocide, forbidden to show it to the people here. Yeah. They want to be unique in everything, even in the Holocaust. I don't envy them. And if by any chance, because you are with Michael Spath, you were invited to listen to the other side, to the Palestinians. Maybe you will visit the West Bank.
We're near the end. We've been Hebron, Bethlehem, Nablus.
My goodness, what do you want from me then? You have been in all these places. And you've seen the suffering of the people,
Yes,
the injustice that are committed against them.
yes.
And maybe you read one or the other books written by Palestinians, my books, the books of Naim Atik, my book, Blood Brothers. Sorry, or We Belong the Land. And you ended by listening to some Palestinians telling them his story, his poignant story, his sad story, from the very beginning. When I see Palestinian young girls who have not been in school because they are in the refugee camps, I see them, I say, this is another Anna Frank. You've read the book of Anna Frank?
Yes.
This is the book of Anna Frank, written by every Palestinian lady who cannot write and read. And you ended by sympathizing with the Palestinians. Why not? Do sympathize with us. We need your sympathy. We need you to be on our side. You have to, because for once you will be on the right side. But to be on our side, sorry, this does not mean that you be anti-Jew. You are allowed to be pro-Palestinian. You have to be pro-Palestinian. But you do not have to conclude, I am anti-Jew. What for if you are anti-Jew, pro-Palestinian? Pro-Jew, anti-Palestinian. What do you do to yourself, my brothers? You reduce yourself to be one more miserable enemy in this complicated conflict. And we don't need any more enemies for the ones against the other. We need one common friend. We need you to take our side. Be pro-Palestinian, for God's sake. It's true. They deserve that. They suffered enough to see the end of their suffering. But never allow yourself to express that with anti-Jewish expression. Even if the Jews continue expressing everything anti-Palestinian. As they were reduced to dirty Jew, we are reduced to terrorist Palestinian. The same way, the same reason. Yeah? And the same conclusion will happen. This is what I need from you. I thank you for coming to stay with the people of terrorists in this village of belief, where we have only peace-loving people, people with so much openness, so much tolerance, so much acceptance of the otherness of the other. We teach our children here that you should not relate to the unknown other as a threat, but as a possibility to discover a new friendship. Yeah? And this is what makes so many people want to come here. Many people, many Muslims, many Christians. Our children come 53,000 villages to come and join the school. Not because they don't have schools, but because of the ideology, because of the discipline, because of the morality we teach our children. So we need to help us to continue that. And I thank you.
Question or two?
I can 3 or 4.
So we have a little bit of time if any of you want to ask Abuna a question. Thank you so much.
Before that, you have at the table, you have many books.
We
Most
have
of them
lots of
I
them.
wrote. Blood Brothers, We Belong the Land, Hope Beyond Despair, books about the church. Soon the lady will come. You can buy the books here. Whatever you buy is good. If you don't read it, don't read, but buy it. Give it to a friend. That would help us to develop some projects in the school. I thank you. No questions.
Yeah.
So I understand that there are a few Jewish teachers here.
Yeah.
Are there any Jewish families that would consider having their child here?
This was my obsession till 1999. I had Muslims, Christians, and Druze, and I wanted to have some Jews. I spent the whole year going from one Jewish kibbutz to another Jewish village, meeting with the parents' committee and trying to convince them to send their children to our school. I was able, after 1 year, to convince 80 families to send their children. And in the year 2000, it's not long ago, the beginning of September, opening the school year, I was there waiting for our children to come. And every morning I stand there to greet everyone that comes. And they came in their hundreds, thousands. At the end I saw the big bus coming down with the Jewish children. I saw that, I became scared. Did I bring the devil to my camp? How can I place 10 or 12 Jewish kids in one classroom with 30 Palestinian kids, Muslims and Christians, or frustrated, or suffering because their land has been confiscated, their home has been destroyed? What will the Arabs do with the Jews? They will kill them, they will tear them into pieces. I was very scared. The bus arrived, I did not allow any Jew to come in. I said, you wait in the bus. I ordered 4 buses. They came around and loaded them with my children. And they looked at the Jewish bus and said, boy, these are also your children now. Can you love them or not? Without answering, I went on the bus, invited these children, subdivide themselves on 4 groups and go onto the other buses. They will spend the day on Mount Carmel in the fresh air. And I instructed the teachers, you go with them, when you come back we'll see what we can do. I was waiting at 4 o'clock for the return of the buses. I was there to write how many were unhappy, how many were hurt, how many were massacred, how many were refused. And the buses stopped, opened the doors. No one of the children went down the stairs of the bus. They all jumped out like little monkeys. It was very clear. They have forgotten that they were Jews and Palestinians. They discovered that they were just kids. Oh, blessed, that's just kids. And we started the school with them. First year, second year, third year, problems started. The Jewish kids have to go for special military training, pre-military service. And the first lesson, as they told me, would be, you have the privilege of defending your country whenever you finish school, because we are surrounded with terrorists. And they would ask, who are these terrorists? And the teacher would be, all the Palestinians are terrorists. And we come the next day to the school, we see only Palestinians, and none of them is terrorists. It became more acute in the 12th grade, they had more military exercise, it became impossible. We stopped that experience, but we kept with us the 35 Jewish teachers to continue working with us. And from then, that on, I became strongly against segregated system of teaching. Palestinians are alone, Christians alone, Muslims alone, Jews alone, Druze alone. My goodness, how can that be? Let us melt them together, put them together. They will write their common future together. So far, each one is writing his own future. And the one does not go with the other. I had hope, now I have no more hope after the new legislation, where Israel is for the Jews, not for the others.
Yeah, tell us about your curriculum. Do you need to use the state, the Israeli state curriculum for history, for example?
Yes, yes. It's forbidden to mention Palestine. So what we do with the children are gathered outside. I do that. I tell them, you know, we would love to teach you about Palestine, but the Ministry of Education forbids us to teach you about Palestine. You know now why we don't mention Palestine. We would love to do it, but we are not allowed. Go in classrooms. Everyone would go find books to read about Palestine. It's the system of apartheid, exactly.
Can you say Nakba? Can you measure? Can you mention the Nakba?
What can we say? It was an offering to God. It was a Nakba. This is what I said to Perez. I am native from Barham. I'm a deportee. You destroyed my village. My people are still alive. We want to come back. And he answered very clearly. It was 60, 70 years ago. And you still remember that your native village is Barham. When are you going to forget that Barham is your native place? Okay. That's all what the story is about. Any other questions?
We have time for one more.
Yes, please.
Story and your work and all these pictures bear a powerful witness to a remarkable work. So praise the Lord for you. We're grateful for you.
Thank you.
And I'm curious, over a lifetime, when you're discouraged, when you get bad news, when it's tempting to give up, what has been your personal rule of life to maintain peace and patience? How does that look for you personally? How would you encourage us?
Yeah. You know, we have decided to never more live in the past. We don't want to live in the bitterness of the past. And we have learned not to live in the future, because it's there and that's a surprise we don't know. We need to live in the present day, in the present time. Yeah. And there's a picture here. Since you mentioned that, that's an ambulance, right? This car is an ambulance. And here there are people on the bed. Nobody knows what's that. It was after a terrorist, Palestinian probably, killed around 10 Jews and wounded 25 in the bus station in Tel Aviv. Before that, few weeks before that, one Jewish doctor, terrorist, went in the Abrahamic mosque and killed all the Muslims who are prostrating in prayer. At that time, we sent letters of disagreement, of anger to the President of the State of Israel, saying that is not worthy of being Israeli to be that killer. When this happened against the Jews, the student committee came to me in this office, just beside here, said, now what are you going to do, Father Chacour? I said, what can I do? I wrote letters of condolences to the families and to the Ministry of Education. This is all what I can do. One among the students, a Muslim, said, I would not stop there. Another said, I would not even stop there either. I said, what would you do, ladies and gentlemen? And they said, I would be ready to give my blood for the Jewish wounded people, to show them that we are not against them, we are against the ways they treat us. What can I say as a priest? I don't want to give my blood. I said, okay, we'll call the hospital. We called the Rambam hospital in Haifa. Please, we have students who want to give their blood for the wounded in Tel Aviv. Can you send us nurses and ambulances? They took me seriously, I don't know why. The next day in the morning, we had 2 ambulances. That's one of them, and that's the other. With 15 Jewish nurses coming to pump our blood. Sorry to use these expressions. I was afraid that 5 or 10 students would donate blood and all the thing would be reduced into a ridiculous thing. But they came at 9 o'clock. They kept working unstopped till 1 in the afternoon. 300 adult students donated blood for the wounded Jews. And I had also the honor to give from my blood. When I was lying on one of these beds, beside me was a Druze teacher. Beside him, an American volunteer. And beside her, a Jewish teacher. Were lying down and donating blood. We'd always donate blood if it's needed. We hope it will never be needed. At that evening, I was interviewed on Israeli TV. What have you done? I said, I did something that I don't wish to do again. I don't wish to see any more Jews wounded and needing blood. Because today, I saw Jewish blood, Palestinian blood flowing into Jewish veins. Unless we continue to do that, we have no hope to survive. That's the answer I can give you.
Wow.
Let's say thank